Hi everyone, it's TheTidesChanging here, and welcome to part 2 of the speed build for Fox Ridge Estate. So I'm starting things off with a study, which is another one of the rooms that I did when I wasn't exactly inspired. So I didn't end up liking a lot of what I did in this room initially, so this is another one of the rooms that I just completely redid off camera, although I did keep some of the things that I did. Like, I did like the desk and the chair that I initially used, so this chair and desk is actually one of the ones that was unlocked with the new career item unlock patch. And I keep getting questions about what that sheet is, so I'll just put it somewhere on this video so those of you who don't know what it is can see it. So when I first did the study, it had a very formal look to it because I was trying to keep up with the theme that I had for the dining room and the formal study, but it just looked too formal for this house. I felt like I had that chess table there with the very formal chairs, and I do actually keep those bookshelves, but I just added a lot of very formal paintings around the office, and it just, like I said, it just completely didn't go with the rest of the house. And I had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what to put behind the desk there, so at first I just had those two plants there, so it was kind of symmetrical. I also added that little barrel-looking trash can, and then I replaced the curtains with those very formal ones, which I do, of course, change because they just didn't really look that great in there. So for the walls, I at first went with this sort of beige color, a similar color to what was used out in the formal living room. I also had some trouble figuring out what to do as far as the rugs for the room go. Like, I didn't know whether I should have a rug both under the desk and also out in the middle of the room. I also found a lot of really neat little knick-knack type items that were unlocked through the career item unlocking cheat, because this was done shortly after that patch came out, so I was just finding all these really neat things that were perfect for the room. Like, there's this cool little Zen garden thing, there's also that pie chart, and all the different trophies, so I had a lot of fun just putting those items out and decorating the room with them. But that is the last of the furnishing for the first floor, or at least this was the point where I moved on to the second floor, although I do go back and redo the last 3 rooms that I did. But right now I'm working on the landing area upstairs, so I wanted this landing area to have more of a youthful feel to it, I guess. Like, it was very, like, lived in, used by kids, so I left lots of little toys and stuff laying around. And then I also had that little accent table there and put a sports poster in it, like it was one of the kids or maybe one of the parents' posters. And I just put a lot of very childish items up in this area, so it's not really the most formal area. Because, you know, typically since the guest bedroom is down the first floor, you know, unless it's people coming over to visit the kids and stuff like that, you won't really have a lot of people going upstairs. Like, that's more of the family's private space. But as you can see right here, I'm just putting some toys in because that is right in front of a kid's room, so I felt like it would be appropriate to have it be like the kids just kind of left some toys right out there in front of the room. And then I also put a desk right here, so it's kind of like a study area, so the kids could go out here and work on their homework, although they all have desks in their room, although in the teen girl room doesn't really have a desk in it, but the teen boy room does, but it has a computer on it, so I guess they'd have to go out there to do homework. But anyway, I just thought it would be a nice touch for that room, and then I also added that painting in that's supposed to be like a family painting, and then for the wallpaper, I went with a mix of the mint color that you see here, and then I also added in the light beige color in some spots just to give kind of accent walls and break up the color a little bit, since there are a lot of different walls in that room. And then right now I'm starting on the first of the bedroom. So I did one of the kids' bedrooms initially, and this bedroom is definitely my favorite of the bedrooms. Like, I just really like how it turned out. So I did this cool thing here with making bunk beds. So how I did that was I used the move objects on sheet, which is bb.moveObjects, and then I put, you know, one bed down, then I put another bed, and then just use 9 to move it up to make it look like there's bunk beds. And I got that because I saw that the Simple Supply made a kid bedroom with that, and I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea, so I wanted to try it myself and put my own spin on it. But an issue with it is that, of course, the top bunk is not usable, but the bottom one still is. Like, I tested that and they could still use it. I also put that wardrobe in and some shelves next to the bed, so it'd be kind of like a ladder, because, you know, I figured they'd have to have some way of getting up onto that bed, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to make like a ladder against the wall and then have some toys on it, like the kids just left the toys there. And then I put a cabinet on the other side of it so that, because the shelves were a little bit too wide for a ladder, so I just put a, I changed it to a wardrobe there. Initially it was a kitchen cabinet, but then I changed it to a wardrobe to just make the shelves a little bit narrow so they look more realistically like ladders. And that wardrobe that I put there is actually usable. And then I also added a desk, and I made the desk a nice bright green color. so that it kind of blended in with the grass since it was in front of the grass part of the wall. So, and then I also did the same thing with the accent table there, so I think the colors just really blended in nicely, and I just love all the colors in this room. Like, it's just a very, very bright and cheerful kids room. Definitely like it more than the other kids room, although I do like the other kids room as well. But I just really love this room, and I tried a lot of interesting things with it. And then on this side of the room, I wanted to be sort of a reading area slash play area. So you have the bookshelf there. I also stuck the giant teddy bear, and I put in a whole bunch of toys all over the place. So I have some on the ground there, and then I also did put some on top of the bookshelf, and then you have the toy chest there as well. So I really like that part of the room as well. I did upload this room separately to the gallery in case any of you want to download it to use in another house. And something I just remembered that I should mention about this house is that when you place it, you have to be in build mode. If you place it from Manage Worlds, then like half the objects will be gone when you go into it. And I don't know if it really helps that much, but apparently having the move objects on sheet already helps a bit with objects not disappearing. I didn't really notice it making a difference, but just to be safe, it might be good to have that sheet already on, because I did get a few comments and stuff about objects being missing, and then I looked into a bit, and then I found that when you did place it in one of Manager Worlds, there's just like half the stuff in the house was missing. But I did finish that bedroom for now, so now I'm moving on to the kids' bathroom, although I do go back to that bedroom to change a few things. But for the kids' bedroom, I just kept it with the same sort of theme that I had in the downstairs bathrooms. So I didn't do anything too crazy with the fixtures, like with the sinks and tubs and all that, although I did add some decorations to give it a kids' bathroom kind of a feel. So, you know, you have 2 sinks in this bathroom since it will be shared by both of the kids in the kids' bedrooms, and then you also add some toothbrushes and some soap. And then I did put some toys on the top of that shelf there, just because, you know, it was a kids' bathroom, so I figured maybe they would keep some bath toys up there. Although I do later get rid of them because I realized that I may have gotten a little bit too overboard with the toys in this room. Another cool thing I did was that I used those little turtle rugs as bath mats. So, you know, because I thought that'd be a fun touch for a kid's room. You know, like it makes sense to have something a little bit different than just a plain rug. So I thought that was a really cute little touch. And something that kept happening with this house that drove me nuts was that, like, when I first put wallpaper in the room, it'd be fine. Like, it wouldn't delete any objects. But then when I would go to put wallpaper in, like if I would go and change it, it would just delete a ton of objects. So I kept having to go through and put multiple things back, and it just drive me nuts. And also every time I would go into the save, there would be objects put in the inventory, so I just kept having to go around, replace a bunch of stuff. And that does remind me that even if you do place this house in the build mode, that some objects will show up in the inventory. So once you place this house, be sure to check in the household inventory to make sure objects didn't go into it. But right now is when I'm going back to this bedroom here and just making some changes to it. So a change that I made to this room that I felt really helped was replacing that cabinet that was at the foot of the bed with the bookshelf, because the cabinet went from the floor to the ceiling, so it just blocked off the view, like it just kind of blocked off the room a bit. So I felt like using the bookshelf really opened up things, and then I also put some of those little toys on top of it, which I thought was really cute. And then because of that, I did get rid of the other bookshelf that was in the room, but I definitely think that looks so much better. I also replaced the shelves that I used as ladders with the more modern ones, and I felt like those ones had more of a shelf type look. They also came in a white color that fit in with the room better. And then here I got rid of that bookshelf that was originally there because I didn't feel like there was a point in having 2 bookshelves, and then I just replaced it with a reading chair and then put a little shelf on top of it to add some books to, like it was just some extra books there. So, yeah, I really like how that looks, and I just love this room so much. Like, it's by far, like, my favorite kids' room out of all the ones that I've done, and then I was just doing some last-minute rearrangement to the room. I also replaced the wood with carpet because I felt like it would give the room a cozier look, and it was also suggested by quite a few people. And then I went on to add a rug right there underneath of the chair, so I just added in a bright green rug to keep up with the bright colors. And then I went and made some changes to the kids' bathroom. So I changed the flooring, and then I also changed the turtle rugs to be a teal and purple mix, and then just added some other little knickknacks. This is also when I got rid of the toys that were on the top of the shelf, and then I actually put both the toys in the bathtub because I figured it would make more sense to have bath toys be in the actual bathtub, and just replace the little knickknack type items that were on the top of that shelf with some tissue paper and that little butterfly picture. And then another change I made was changing the color of that painting there because I felt like the pink didn't fit in that well. So I made one blue and then I made another one purple, which really fit in with the colors of the rest of the room better. Right now I'm moving on to the other kid's bedroom, and I gave this bedroom a dinosaur theme because there's all these really cool dinosaur type objects. So I just really want to take advantage of that and just use them all. So this room has a orange, blue, and green color theme because, you know, you have the orange and the blue on the bed and other objects, and then for the wall I used this green wallpaper that had some dinosaurs in the top border there. I just really like how those colors came together, and I love dinosaurs as a kid, so this is actually a room that I might have wanted myself as a kid. And, you know, I of course had to put in that little dinosaur, that little stuffed dinosaur, and then I also put in the dinosaur measuring tape, or I guess the height measure. Or I guess a height chart is technically what it's called, and then I also add in all these other little toys right there. So that's just like the toy corner, and then I added in a desk right there in front of the window, which of course is orange as well, so there's just a lot of oranges in this room. I also uploaded this room to the gallery separately because I just really liked it. I thought it was really cute. I don't think I uploaded any of the other rooms separately. I probably should go back and upload other rooms because I did like a lot of the other rooms in this house. But right now moving on to decorating the other side, so you know you have that little dresser there, and then I also added this orange mirror in above it, and a bookshelf in that corner. And then instead of adding posters to this wall, I just added some of those paintings because I felt like posters might be a bit too busy. I did want to put in the science lab object, but it wouldn't really fit in this room because this room is rather small, so I instead just put another stuffed animal in the corner, and then I put a violin back in there as well. And right now moving on to what was an athletic themed room. So this is supposed to be a room for just a teen who loves sports, and I gave it a red and black theme. I was originally going to go with blue, but I just use blue a lot, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different and then give it a red theme because at this point I hadn't done a red room elsewhere in the house. And then I also did put that exercise machine in the corner there because it fit in, you know, I thought it'd be kind of a cool touch for an athletic Sims room. And then right here I put a computer desk because I figured that whatever teen was in this room would like to have a computer to use as well, so you know they wouldn't have to share the family computer. The kids don't have computers in their room because, you know, I guess kids don't really need computers. They can just go and use the computer in the office downstairs. But I also did put a bunch of little knickknacks on the desk, and I try to keep up with the red theme, so you have that red lamp and then the red apple painting, and then also the red CD items. Although I do go in later and then change the apple painting to be the actual sport painting because I just completely forgot that I could use that item in there, and then I remembered it later, and then also other people point out that I should have used it, so I did go in later and change it. And then I also add that little stack of sport items in the corner there, as well as some dirty clothes, because I was trying to give it a look like, you know, the kid was slightly messy, but, you know, not horribly messy, just kind of leave stuff out occasionally. And then I did have some trouble with the wallpaper initially, so I was trying to use darker brown colors, but then, you know, I feel like all the brown was a little bit too much. And then I ended up changing the wall to be a dark navy blue color with a red accent wall, which I do really like how that looked. And then I was trying to revisit what to do as far as the rug goes under the bed because I had a little bit of trouble with that. So I settled on that red and white rug there, and then I also changed the big exercise machine to just be a punching bag, because I felt like that would be a little bit more realistic than having this expensive exercise machine in the room. And then I did also change the floor to be wood, and then I tried out a darker brown color there on the floor, or on the wall. Why did I say on the floor? But I tried out a darker brown color on the wall to replace that navy blue color, and then I also decided on putting that pretty cool black and white rug on the floor there, and then I also did move the dresser away some because it was kind of overlapping with the rug that was underneath the punching bag. And then I guess also you wouldn't really want a dresser that close because you might accidentally punch it when you're trying to go for the punching bag. I also replaced the computer I had there originally with the unlocked computer from the eSport gamer career, which fit in perfectly with this room because it was red and black, so it just fit in really well. But now moving on to the other teen bedroom, and this was supposed to be a more feminine pink and black bedroom that was supposed to be for like a music lover. And it was frequently requested that I do a pink and black themed bedroom. A lot of people wanted to see that, so I of course gave it a go. I just used the same kind of bed that I use in the other bedroom, you know, the same types of end tables. There were, like, during the series, there's a couple comments saying that it was sort of strange that, you know, like, the different bedrooms had the same furniture but with different sheets and stuff on it. But then, you know, personally, I didn't think that was that weird because growing up, my parents always got my brother and I the same things, but they would be in different colors, so they're somewhat different. and I don't remember ever having an issue with that, so I didn't really see there being a need to have different types of beds and end tables in the teen bedrooms, so that's why I just kept it this way. But I did add those cool little knickknacks onto the shelf above the bed, and once again, like, another really cool thing about the Move Objects sheet is that I was able to put things on the shelves that I normally wouldn't be able to, because there's very few clutter objects that actually fit on the shelf, so it's just really nice to be able to use whatever you want. And then I did this really cool thing here. It's actually the same thing I did in the Cheerful teen room that I put up a couple, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. But where you just have wardrobes, and then, you know, in between the wardrobes you put a desk that just looks like it's built in, so, because you can't even see the legs of the desk. So I thought I would try that again in this room, but with some different colors, and then I also put cabinets on the top of it just to kind of, I guess, to fill in the gap between the two wardrobes. I also had some trouble with the curtains in this room because I felt like those curtains were a little bit too plain, but then all the formal ones were a little bit too much. And then right now I'm setting up sort of the musician corner of this room, because like I said, it's supposed to be for a music-loving sim. So I just had a microphone and a guitar over there in that corner, and then I decided to replace some of the objects on the shelves with the music trophies, because I felt like that would be really, really fitting for this room. And then I also put some more posters up around the room, like some more music-related pictures. And right here I was just quickly trying to see how blinds would work, but blinds wouldn't really look that great, so I just didn't use them. I also put a funky little modern mirror in that corner there with a little plant next to it, and then a hamper with some folded clothes on top of it. And I feel like there needed to be something at the foot of the bed, but I didn't really know what to put there, so I decided just to put this modern bookshelf and then put some decorations on it. So I thought that was pretty cool looking, although I do move it a little bit later on, but I put some objects on it like perfumes and nail polish. And then next to it I also put in a chair, because I figured it could be like a chair that someone would sit in if they wanted to watch, you know, if they wanted to watch someone use the microphone or play the guitar or something like that. And then I also did add in those piles of clothes right next to it just to kind of give a slightly cluttered effect to the room. And I also decided to try putting in those larger curtains in there, those rather formal ones, but they were a little bit much, so I do go ahead and change them later on. And right now I'm moving on to what is I guess it's technically called a Jack and Jill bathroom, but it's a bathroom that's shared between the two rooms, and it's only accessible between the two different rooms. So what I decided to do for this room was make it look like the parents renovated just for the teens. Like they said, you know, just choose whatever you want in this room. We'll just renovate it however you like, since no one else is really gonna see it. And I did that because it was requested by a couple people just to do something different with this bathroom. So I decided to just do that and tried using some brighter colors in it and more modern furniture as well. And I also used this shower tub combo in it, and then just put a wall beside it just to make it look built in, which is something that I really like to do, as I've said before. I kept going back and forth between having a green and blue theme in this bathroom, and then I also put in a green toilet, which was specifically requested by someone, so I decided just to put in a funky little green toilet in here, and then just putting in some other objects above it, like some soap and some tissues, because my thought was that they could have the extra objects like extra soap and extra tissues right above there, and then I just stuck that light up high so that it would light it without showing through, because that area was a little bit dark. From there I went on to add the hand towels in next to the sinks, and then I also added a rug there right in front of the sink, and then I just made it a green rug. So at first I was trying out a couple of different types of greens in this room, and then for the walls I wanted to have some green. So I did use this modern black or dark gray tile kind of wall, and then I did change it to the white tile, and then just had some green in there as an accent. And then I really quickly went in and added a mirror to the first kid's bedroom. And then I did decide to change the walls in the first teen bedroom back to a blue color. I also changed the curtains in here to be those ones so that they were fuller, but then they still were modern. And I also got this really awesome suggestion for this room to change the desk to a vanity. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. Like, that's something I haven't done before, so as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing. Just to do something a little bit different than the computer desk. So then I just moved the perfumes and nail polishes over to that vanity. And then I also took out one of the end tables and replaced it with a light just to break up the pink some. Because there were a few comments like after I did this room about there being a little bit too much pink, so I did go back in and try to break up those colors some and try to add some different objects in just to make it look, just to make it look a little bit less overwhelmingly pink. There's also a cool suggestion to replace the cabinets that were above the desk with a shelf, so I did that and then put some more beauty type objects up above there. The whole vanity setup was just a really good excuse to use that star mirror, so I'm glad I got the opportunity to use that because it just fits in so well. And then I did move that bookshelf over to right next to the mirror there, and then I also put in a stereo above it because I completely forgot to put a stereo in this room initially, which is something that you would expect to see in a music-loving teen's room. And then I replaced since I moved the bookshelf away, I did just put an ottoman right there, so instead of having that chair to sit in and watch music being performed, they can just sit on that ottoman there, which I guess fits in better. And then I also added TV, so they can also, sit in either the bed or sit on the ottoman and watch that TV. And then I also added that star rug there in the middle of the circular one, because, I figured this was a perfect room to use that. So that is about all the changes for that room. So for the bathroom here, there was a suggestion to add in a separate room for the toilet. Which for a room like this makes a lot of sense because, it's shared by 2 teens and, they don't want to have any accidental walk-ins. So it just makes it so, one of them can be in the toilet room doing their business and then the other one can just, wash their hands or get ready for the day or something like that. And, they don't get in each other's way and, they shower less than they use the toilet. So, I would have loved to be able to put the shower in a separate room, but there wasn't really enough room for that. And then I did try some other colors on the walls because I wasn't so sure about the white and green walls. So I was trying out some blue because I was worried there was too much green in this house. So I just took out all of the green except for what was on the towels and some of the accent items. So it was more so just here and there as an accent color, not all over the place. Now moving on to the master bedroom. So we're getting near this house being finished. So I didn't have a closet in the other bedrooms, but I decided to have one in this bedroom because, it's the master bedroom. It's a little bit more luxurious. So I felt like a nice big walk-in closet would suit it well. And my original thought with this room was that you'd have the bed area and then you'd have kind of a separate sitting area. So that's why part of the room currently has carpet. And then the other part of the room has a wood floor. So the area with the wood floor, was originally supposed to be a seating area. And then at first I put in really formal furniture, you have that very formal bed right there, because I just wanted this to have a very, I want it to be a very grand, very elegant master suite. So, you have the formal bed, you also have those formal end tables right there, and then I just put in a lot of other very formal furniture, and then I had some trouble picking out a color scheme because of not all of the, I had trouble finding a color with this bed that I really liked, so I tried a bunch of different ones, and then also I was trying to find one that looked right with the wood. So for a while I did have this bed right here with the blue sheet and then the gray frame, and then I also found a matching gray color for the end tables there and also this gray painting that matched. So for the longest time this room had a gray and blue theme to it. And then, I did also find that chair there, which perfectly matched the bedspread. And then for the rug, I was originally looking at that very fancy rug, but then I ended up going with this rug here, which is a little bit more modern. So I guess that helped to make it look somewhat less formal, because I was sort of worried that this room was getting a little bit too formal. And then over here on that side, I put in that little accent table there, which I'm going to put a TV on later. So my thoughts were that, they could sit in bed and watch that TV, or they could sit on that chair that's right there and watch it. So I think that worked out well, and then, I just had that large TV on there. But I just really like that now we can use that accent table for the TVs, because before we couldn't, and it was just frustrating because the coffee tables take up so much space. That just makes so much more sense for a TV table. But, I did set up another reading area over in that little spot, and then also a coffee table at the foot of the bed. I thought about putting an ottoman, but then I felt like none of the ottomans really looked right in there. And then, I also put an ottoman at the foot of the bed in the other teen room, so I didn't want to do that again. And then I also tried this thing right here with combining dressers together, because I felt like just the shorter dresser by itself wasn't grand enough. So I thought it would look kind of cool to put the taller dresser and just raise it up so you couldn't see the legs of it, so it was just a combo dresser. So I ended up making what was originally supposed to be a sitting area, with a couch and a TV in it, into a dressing area, because I realized there just wasn't enough space in there to really have a couch and a TV, especially with the door to the walk-in closet. So I felt like it would just work better as a dressing area, especially since you have the closet right there, just have that all of that stuff just contained in that one area of the house, or of the room actually. But then I did end up reversing what I had originally, having wood out in the bed area and then having carpet in the dressing area. And then I also tried putting in those columns to sort of separate the different areas, but then I ended up just changing the floor back to wood and getting rid of the columns. And for the walls, at first I went with this this very blue theme for the walls, just to keep up with the blues in the rest of the room. So I had this light blue on most of the walls, and then I had a couple of dark blue accent walls. And then I also tried switching up the chairs that were in that corner there, because I was worried it was that the colors of that didn't look quite right. And right now I'm working on what is the walk-in closet. So I just had a bunch of those little shelves with clothes on them all over the place. So I use, a combination of what's supposed to be men's clothes and what's supposed to be women's clothes, of course, and just use the same flooring and the same walling in there. So at first I wasn't completely sure what all to put in this closet, so it was kind of sparse originally. Like, I had that crate there which just didn't really fit in at all. So in a bit I do kind of go through and change a lot of things in that bedroom, and then I did start on the bathroom. So for the bathroom I did the same thing I did in the Casa de las Estrellas house, where I used the cabinets and counters to create sort of a very fancy like vanity kind of a sink, and I really like that. But then right here I went through, just made a whole bunch of changes to the bedroom. Like, I changed the bed to that less formal one because I just felt like it would make it fit in with the rest of the house a lot better. And then also, since that has a brown wood frame, I was able to change all the grays in the room to be browns, because I just felt like the mix of gray and blue was just a little bit too cold, like it needed to be warmed up some. So I did like those changes. And then right now I'm just going back to the master bathroom, and I did use that corner tub, and I haven't had many houses I made where I've actually been able to fit in that corner tub, so it's really nice to be able to fit it into this room. And then there is also a separate standing shower right there, and then as you may have seen near the sink, I put in his and hers bathrobes. And then I'm also putting in some romantic red candles right on top of the bathtub there. And, another shelf like what I've done in the rest of the bathrooms above the toilet. I just like having those shelves in there because I feel like it adds something to the room, like makes it look better decorated, because I feel like the medicine cabinets aren't quite enough, and then you can also put different objects on them to personalize the rooms a little bit better. I also put a laundry basket in there because my thoughts were that, they brought that in there to put the towels away, but then hadn't quite got around to it yet. And then for the walls, I just kept up with the blue theme and then made them blue. So here's when I went through and then just changed a bunch of stuff in the master bedroom again. So I changed the curtains to, the same thing that I used in the teen bedroom, because I felt like there need to be bigger curtains, but then the formal ones are a little bit too much. And then I also went for a gray and dark blue wall, so I do think those changes made the room look a lot better. And then I just went in and added more stuff into the walk-in closet because, like I said before, I just feel like there wasn't enough in there, so I added the dresser in there and then just added a shelf on top of it and put some of those folded clothes objects on top of it. So all these changes really helped to fill out the closet a lot better because there just wasn't enough in there before. I also replaced the curtains with blinds because I felt like that'd be better for a closet where they might be getting dressed. You want a little bit more privacy in there. So I just moved all of the dressing area type stuff that was out there before into the closet just to fill it in a little bit better. And then I also added a chair, so it could be like a chair they would sit in to put their shoes on. After that, I moved the shelves up a little bit so they wouldn't be, because before they were so low that if a sim sat in that chair, they would have clothes hitting them in the head. So after taking all the objects out of the dressing area, I had to do something else with it. So I moved that bookshelf over there since I decided to make it a study area instead, because the kids might be using the computer that's down in the study downstairs, so I figured the parents might want their own private study area that only they can access. So I decided just to put one in here, and then I used this desk, which is unlocked through, I believe it was the writer career, but I just thought it would fit in really well with this room, and then I added a floor lamp in there and another little flower. And then I did try out having wood floor in there again, and then put those separation columns in, and then made the walls in there a navy color just to separate it a little bit. So I did end up changing the flooring back to carpet in there, but I do believe I keep the columns that were in there. After making the changes to the master bedroom, I went on to make some changes to the bathroom. So I ended up just moving the shower over near the tub because I realized that it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to have them in completely different parts of the room. Like, that would make more sense to just swap the shower with what was, in the spot where I put it. And right now I'm moving up to the attic, which is the last part of this house, so it is almost done. So for the attic, what I wanted to do for it was give it this look like just a whole bunch of useless, like a whole bunch of old stuff was just stored up there, like old dressers, there's a bunch of old painting items up there as well, like just a whole bunch of kind of creepy, like just a creepy reject object pile. So that corner of the room right there just has a whole bunch of random things. And then I also did set up a little art easel right in front of that window so that, they could paint and look out the window for inspiration, not aspiration, but yeah, so I just put all those little sketches there as well, like, they just sketched and then hung them up right there. And then right now I'm going back to the reject object pile and just adding in some of the art items, which were really fitting for this. So you have that still life setup lamp right there. And then you also have that creepy wooden ballerina, which just fits in with the whole creepy attic theme. And then I added a whole bunch of other random stuff, like those crates, that little milk jug thing. And then I did also add in some toys as well, kind of like it was reject toys, like toys that the teens had when they were younger but outgrew, so the parents just stored it in the attic because they got newer toys for the younger kids. And then I also did throw in a gnome in there. I also put a card table in there as well because I figured it'd be kind of like a teen hangout area. Like, the kids kind of have the run of the house. Like, there's toys everywhere, so the kids kind of want the teens kind of wanted their own space of the house, so they turned the attic, you know, the empty space in the attic into their own little hangout spot. So you have that card table, and then you also have that TV up there on the shelf, and TVs that are put up on shelves are functional for those of you who are wondering, so I thought they'd be kind of a cool area, like they can just talk and watch TV and play cards together when they have teens over. So it was really fun to furnish this attic. Like, it was just a lot of fun to try and put clutter all over the place. This house is almost done though, which means it will soon be moving on to the showcase part of this video. So this house is of course up for download, and I do have a link in the description as well as information on how to find it in-game, but I hope you enjoyed seeing the Let's Build in speed build format, and if this is something that you enjoyed, I can do this for future series, but I hope you enjoy the rest of this video.